Hello, Vision Building Women. This is Dr. Saundra. I hope you all have had a fantastic day and you are ready for Impact Academy. I know that I am. I am so excited about tonight's teaching. I tell you what, I've been trying to get this lighting correct here for the past couple of minutes. When the lighting's off, it's just off. Okay, I'm having to use my computer here because for whatever reason I cannot see your comments on the screen. You all are typing comments and I just cannot see them, and I'm not exactly sure why we can't see them. There's no point in calling Facebook because they don't answer those kinds of questions. So let me do one thing. Let me turn off this light here and see if that is better. Not really. I really don't like this lighting in here, and I'm not exactly sure what is happening to my lighting, but anyway, the content tonight is fabulous, okay? I'm actually going to be teaching this content later on next month at the Virginia Business Women's Conference, and so I'm really excited to be bringing it to you. So good evening, everyone. I'm looking at you on the screen here. I'm also looking at my computer. I see many people have joined in. Hello, Gail. Hello, Cheryl. Hello, Juanita. Hello, Ernestine. I see other people are coming in. Hello, Joni. Hello. And so, like I said, I've got some serious content for you tonight. So, I have serious content for you every Sunday night, but really tonight is really a huge breakthrough for some of you who have been asking yourself the question whether you are in a something that you need to get out of or something that you need to determine whether or not it's time for you to leave. We are going to put something in front of you tonight so that you can answer those questions. So again, my name is Dr. Saundra Wall-Williams. For those of you that this is your first time to Impact Academy, it is very good to have you with us on tonight. Impact Academy is for women who want to rebuild themselves so they can build their vision. Rebuild themselves so they can build their vision. Rebuilding doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It means that you are ready to grow so that you can go and do the things that God has called you to do. And so that's what we're here for at Impact Academy. And tonight's session is Take the Leap, the 5 signals that let you know it's time to move on. Okay? Take the leap is the night session. Take the leap, L-E-A-P, the 5 signals that you get when you know it's time to move on. And I want to tell you, as we get ready to do these, that any one of these signals, okay, should get you thinking as to whether or not it's time for you to move on. All right. Again, I am just not sure. I'm not very pleased with the lighting tonight. I'm not exactly sure what is going on with the lighting. I don't think they've changed any of the lighting in this room, but it looks like they may have. And so I'm just that's a little better. Can y'all see me just a little bit better now, I guess? Okay, well, we're going to go ahead and get started. I see other people are joining, and let me do this. Tonight, I'm not exactly sure what is going on with the lighting. I don't think... All right, I am going to put that on mute. Okay, so I think I've got it working now. We'll see. Okay, so I see other people are joining. Hello, Nikki, Dr. Pegues. Hello, Prophetess Scarborough. I see so many of you all on here. All right, so now let's get started. So tonight's session again is called Take the Leap, to know when it is time to move on. The 5 signals that you need, that you know it is time to move on. And I will tell you why this particular let me stop for just a second. Hey, Lisa. We're so glad to see you on here tonight. Carol and I were beginning to be concerned. We had not seen you on screen, so we were getting concerned. So howdy. All right. Hi, Lily. Hey, Aisha. Everybody, welcome. And let me tell everybody tonight, I'm looking at my screen and I'm also looking at my computer to see the actual comments, okay? So if you send me a comment or you have a question or something and I don't answer it, it's probably because I didn't see it, so just do it again. Okay? So All right. So what I want you to do is I want you to get some pencil and paper tonight. You're really going to need pencil and paper tonight for tonight's session, because I believe tonight's session is going to help you regardless of what you're trying to move on to. Okay, whether when you're trying to move away from something and you're trying to ask yourself whether or not it's time to go, how do you know that it's time to move on? And the reason this came up is, number one, I was asked to make this presentation at the Virginia Business Women's Conference coming up in December. And so I'll be up there the first and second actually of December, making this presentation. And so I said, there are so many people that struggle with, how do I move on? How do I get past where I am right now so that I can move to my next? How do I know that it's time to move on? If you have asked yourself this question, whether it's about a relationship or whether it's about a job or whether it's about church or something, but whatever, okay? But if you've asked yourself this question, put a 1 in the chat box for me, okay? If you've ever asked yourself this question, put a 1 in the chat box. I'm going to do one more thing, because this lighting is going to concern me, because when this gets out on the other video, y'all sit right there, okay? I'm going to turn the light off. I think my overhead light has I'm not very fond of that one either. All right, but anyway, okay, I'm not exactly sure what's going on, y'all. We are just going to keep rolling, okay? All right, so I see a lot of you have dealt with having to move on to something else, okay? So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to talk about those 5 signals that you get when it's time to move on. And like I said, so many people are dealing with whether or not they need to move on from where they are. And I've dealt with this too several times, in terms of, how do I know it's time for me to take that next step, or move on, or move away from a relationship, or move on to a new job, or move on to something that is new. How do I know that? How do I know that? Well, what I want to do tonight is I want to give you 5 signals so that you'll know, okay? But now, first of all, now I'm going to do a Dr. Christine Grant. For those of you that are on here, you know that Dr. Christine Grant occasionally gives us, what are these things called? It's not an acronym, but when you have letters that mean something. And I have one for you tonight. So here is the acronym, or what LEAP stands for, LEAP. So for those of you that are just joining, hello, I see Inner Circle in the house. Let me stop and let me say hello to the Inner Circle. Okay. Hello, Inner Circle. All right. Acrostic. Thank you, Pastor Thorne. Acrostic. So let me give you, I do have an acrostic tonight, but I wanted to stop and say hello to my fabulous Inner Circle. Okay. So now, this is what LEAP, L-E-A-P, actually stands for, because we're talking about take the leap, the 5 signals that it's time for you to move on, okay? So, LEAP, L-E-A-P, is launch exceptionally into your accurate position, okay? Launch, L, exceptionally, the E, into your accurate, that's the A, position. Okay, somebody type that in the chat box for me. That leap, L-E-A-P, okay, take the leap is to launch exceptionally into your accurate position. Because I believe that if you are struggling with trying to move on, or whether or not it's time for you to move on, then you are not positioned correctly now. Okay, that you're either in the wrong in a relationship that's not right, or you're in an organization that may not be right for you, or you're in a work position that may not be right for you, but you're in a position that is not right for you, okay? So if you're feeling that you need to move on, but you don't know whether or not you should, okay? And thank you all for scribing. Thank you all for scribing. So how do you, what are those signals? What are those things that you need to know that will launch you exceptionally into your accurate position? What are those things that, again, will leap you, okay? Launch you exceptionally into your accurate position. And that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. How do you know it is time to leap? I have 5 things or 5 signals to let you know it's time to leap. And so I want to give these to you, and I want you to really, really consider as you look at these, to really, really consider that you may need to take the leap in some areas in your life. And, you know, when you decide to take the leap in these areas of your life, then, you know, you really can't look back. All right. So I'm going to give you these 5, and then I'm going to give you 5 ways to move into the new, this new area, this new time in your life. Okay. So first let's look at the 5 ways that you know it's time to leap. Okay. And remember that leap is to launch exceptionally into your accurate position. Launch exceptionally into your accurate position. Good evening, everybody. Welcome, welcome. I see more people are joining, and welcome everyone. Here's number 1. And we'll call these leap strategies. What are they, strategies? No, leap signals. Let's call them leap signals. I don't like these aren't necessarily strategies yet. I haven't given you I don't give strategies out until I'm actually working with people, because the strategies will depend on what you are doing wherever you are. So your strategy could be different just depending on where you are. So let's look at these call these our 5 leap signals. Okay. Signal number 1. Whatever you're doing, okay, the work starts to repeat itself and you're not growing. So that's the first signal. You're not growing because whatever you're doing, the work starts to repeat itself, and it's the same thing over and over again. All right. So you think about someone who, and I thought about this is the example that came to me when I wrote this first one down. And you're not growing because you're doing the same thing over and over again. When I was working in community colleges, I had one of my staff, and she had been at the job 25 years. She had been at the job 25 years. She was exceptional in what she was doing. She was really, really doing a good job in what she was doing. Okay. And every now and then, I need you all to just give me a hello or a comment or something to make sure that you're still on. So, all right. So, okay, there you go. Thank you, Krista. So, she had been working for 25 years, and she had been working for 25 years in the same position at the same job. Okay. And so when there was time for a promotion, she applied for this promotion. She applied for the promotion, and she didn't get it. She did not get it. And the promotion went to someone who this person had only been in her job, her current job, maybe 5 years or so, if it was that long. But she took on new responsibility. She took on new kinds of different kinds of work responsibility. She would, want to learn more and grow more and go and take on additional classes, maybe some things she didn't necessarily have to do, but she did anyway. All right. Hey, Larme, how you doing? That's my cousin. Hey. All right. She did those kinds of things. And so the person who had been there 25 years, she comes up to me and she says, Dr. Williams, I don't understand why I did not get this promotion. She says, I don't understand why I didn't get the promotion. She said, because I had been here 25 years and I had been doing this job, this same job for 25 years. And I said, I hate to tell you this, but that's the reason that you didn't get the promotion. Okay? The reason you didn't get the promotion is because you stayed in the same thing for 25 years. She says, well, I have 25 years of experience. And I said, I I beg to differ. You have 1 year of experience doing it 25 times. All right? Times 25. All right? So, because you're doing the same thing, you're not growing. And anytime you are somewhere and you're not growing and you're not learning and you're not getting new information that enhances you, you have to ask yourself, how much longer am I going to stay here? All right. It's the same thing. If that's right, Gil, that's kind of like insanity, right? Okay. Why would you stay at a place that you're not growing? Now, sometimes there may be other reasons why you have to stay. Okay. Sometimes you may have to stay until that other thing opens up. But one signal, one leap signal, all right, one signal that says it's time for you to leap. And what was leap? Launch exceptionally into your accurate position. Okay. One signal that says it's time for you to leap is that you are not growing. You start to do the same thing over and over and over again. And I will tell you, once I start doing the same thing over and over and over again, and I'm not growing, then it's time to go. It is really time to go. So you think about the place where you're asking yourself now, is it time for me to move on? Okay, because some of you got on this Impact Academy tonight, or if you're listening to the replay, you're listening to this replay because you're asking yourself, is it time for me to move on? Okay, then ask yourself whether or not you are growing. Are you learning? Are your gifts being utilized? Are you expanding? Okay, because see, you can't go into your next. All right, whatever your next is, you really can't go into your next if you're stuck in a place and that place where you're stuck is not allowing you to grow. There's no growth opportunity for you. I mean, even think about on a job. Okay, when I left community colleges, there was nowhere else for me to go. Okay, once you get to the top in that area right there, I mean, I was at the top of community colleges. I didn't want to be a president at the time. Okay, because I have a son and I wanted to be a part of my son's life. So I didn't want to be a president of a community college. So the only other place for me to go was to be the president of the system. And look at me. They've never had anyone that looks like me as president of the North Carolina Community College System. Doesn't mean it couldn't happen, but it hadn't in my lifetime, and I didn't want to be the first one. That just wasn't something I wanted to do. And so, you think about it. If there's nowhere else for you to go, and there's no more growth for you, it's probably time for you to think about and consider moving on. Okay? So the place where you are, when you're wondering and you're asking yourself, should I move on? Ask yourself this question. Is there any growth for me here? Is there any growth for me here? Am I growing in the place that I am now? Okay? That's signal number one. Signal number two. The signal number two is a good one. Okay, signal number two is a good one. Oh, let me look at the comments. Okay, Della says this includes your spiritual life. Yes, correct. Yeah, Della, great question. This includes your spiritual life. Yeah, if you're in a place spiritually and you're not growing, you really have to. Now, first, and before all of these signals, before any of these, let me make sure I tell you this. Before any of these signals, make sure that you preface all of them with prayer. Okay, because you shouldn't make any move until you pray and you hear from God. Okay, and God may tell you to sit still for a while. Okay, but let me preface all of these that you're going to have to pray. So yes, Della, this does include your spiritual life, but with any movement, you pray first. But if you're someplace spiritually and you're not being fed or you're not growing, or you gotta think about it. You really got to think about it, and there's some things you need to do. Like I said, pray, you may need to get some counsel, those kinds of things. But yeah, these include your spiritual life too, okay? Deborah says, even when you retire, you can still grow. Exactly. I'll be very frank with you. The 15 years and some months that I spent at community college system, I grew phenomenally as a leader. And now that has taken me such that I can have my own company where I teach other women how to be strong in leadership, okay? How to be exceptional leaders, all right? So, yes, when you retire, it means that you may stop working for someone else, but you can still work for yourself and still continue to grow, Okay, so make sure you remember that. All right, so very good. Thank you both those questions. Number two, signal number two, leap signal number two. This is a good one. Number two is when it's time for something to be done, you procrastinate about doing it. You just can't get started. Okay, you know that there's some work to be done, but for whatever reason, you procrastinate. You don't want to do the work, and you're unhappy about doing the work that you have to do for the entity. Okay, so if you're in a job or you're in an organization, if you're in a situation, if you're in a church or whatever it is, and you're unhappy about the work, or you procrastinate about getting the work done that you know is your assigned work, then you're not motivated to be there. You're really not motivated to be there. Okay, because anytime you get work to do, okay, like anytime I get work to do here, okay, in my own company, I'm so excited. I get so excited because somebody's like, this is so much fun. I'm enjoying what I do. Anytime I take on a new client, I'm so excited because it's a challenge, you know. It's challenging to me. I'm taking on new clients starting in the beginning of the year. And so I get excited about new clients coming in. I have new programs that are opening up at the beginning of the year. So I'm excited about those new programs. I just brought on someone who is looking at all of my data and all of my statistics and showing me the directions I should go in terms of social media. So I'm going deeper into that. I'm excited about that because it's new. Okay, that work actually motivates me. Okay, so if you are in some area of your life, whether it's relationship, whether it's a job, whether it's a church, whether it's an organization that you may be working in, and it doesn't motivate you, okay, it doesn't motivate you, then you may have to ask yourself, how much longer am I to be here? If you're unhappy and it doesn't motivate you, you just have to ask yourself the question, okay? So I wrote down in my notes, if the majority of the time you're feeling unhappy or depressed or bored or misunderstood, it may be time to go. Okay, it may be time to go. I'm not saying it is, because that's right. Just like Della put in the comments, pray first. Pray first. You always pray first. You always ask God for direction. These signals, these 5 leap signals that I'm giving you tonight are just to guide you. Okay, to give you some guidance so that you can begin to ask yourself the question. But you always have to pray first and ask God for direction before you do anything. All right. So number 1, if you're not growing, all right, and you're not growing at all, and the work starts to repeat itself. Number 2, if you're not motivated to be there on the job, at the church, at someplace in your life, if you're not motivated to be there, all right, and you begin to procrastinate, you get unhappy, you feel bored, you know, then think about it. It may be time to move on. You know, and here's something else. Some people always ask me, well, you know, how do I know it's time to move on out of a relationship? Okay. And this one right here, number 2, is a true leap signal that it's time to move on from a relationship. All right. Because you know it's time to move on from a relationship if you're being mistreated in there. If a relationship bores you. I mean, I hate to say that, but you know, sometimes there may be relationships that you get around people, you're like, okay, because relationships can bore you. All right, now don't go, for those of you that are married, don't go and tell your husband, look, I am bored with you, I am getting ready to go. Okay, that is not what I'm talking about, and you know it. All right, but what I want you to know is that there may be some relationships that you're not growing from, all right, and you even just dread being around the person. All right. And if that's the case, it may be time for you to move on. It may be time for you to move on. Let me say it one more time. It may be time for you to move on. It may be time for you to get yourself into a new group, okay, of women, all right, so that you can begin to grow, all right, so that you can begin to see how it is that other women are doing things, or talk to other women who may have the same kinds of struggles that you do, but you never really knew that, okay? Because it's amazing to me women get in the inner circle and they begin to talk about, I never would have thought that you were struggling with that, or I never would have thought that you had an issue with that. Okay, but we don't talk about it here primarily because of the venue that this is Facebook Live. But in the inner circle, we're on video conference, so we're able to talk to each other, we're able to see each other and just have conversation around a certain topic. Okay, so now leap signal number 1 is you're not growing. Leap signal number 2 is that you're not motivated. Okay, if this is resonating with any of you, just say me. Just say me in the chat screen, so I can know that you're still with me. If this is helping you, just say me in the chat screen, so I can know this is resonating with you. Okay. I see the likes going across. I see those. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you. I see the the me's coming across now. All right. Okay. Now, let's look at leap signal number 3. Leap signal number 3. Okay. Now, this is one that a very, very wise gentleman told me one day. Okay. Very, very wise gentleman. He's a great friend of mine. And, he would literally do anything that I ask him to do right now. We don't work together anymore every day like we used to, but even now, I just consider him someone very wise and someone who I just feel blessed to have in my life. And so I was interviewing him for a position that reported directly to me. And I am very particular about positions that report directly to me, especially because you're with me so much and you're connected to me. I mean, you're there. I mean, I depend on you. And so when I asked him in his interview, I said to him, what would make you leave this job? And this is your signal number 3. I asked him, I said, what would make you leave this job? And he said, and this is your signal number 3, is that it's time to go when I'm giving more to the job than the job gives to me. Okay? When I'm giving more to the job than the job is giving to me. Okay? So that's your signal number 3. Your signal number 3 is if you are giving, and you're not receiving, okay? And you're not receiving, then you need to be receiving something. And receiving something and not just a paycheck. Okay, not just a paycheck. You need to be receiving something from anything that you're involved in. Anything that you're involved in, you need to be receiving something. Okay, if it's an organization that you volunteer for, you need to be receiving something from it. You just don't do it just for the sake of doing it. Okay, if you're on a job, you need to be receiving more than a paycheck. You need to be receiving growth, education, getting ready for your next, whatever your next is, okay? That's what you need. If you're on a job, you need to be receiving that. If you're in a relationship, okay, that relationship should be helping you, okay? That's why, I look at myself, and that's why I don't have a lot of close, friends. I have a lot of friends, I have a lot of associates, I have a lot of people in my life. But when you talk about close friends, okay, I am very particular about the close people that are very close to me. I have 4 women that intercede for me, and I send them information and ask them to intercede about certain things, and those women are close to me. I have my girlfriends, and those women are close to me. I have my mentors, and I'm very close to them. Of course, my family, but they all pour into me in some form or fashion. I know I pour out to them, but they also all pour into me. Okay, at my company. Okay, I give a lot. I give a lot to my company, but my company also gives to me. All right. It gives me growth. It gives me motivation. It allows me to help others, which is something I love to do. Okay, I do a lot of work in Full Gospel. Okay, I'm a part of the Full Gospel Baptist Church Fellowship International. So I do a lot of work in Full Gospel. And that is a volunteer position. Okay, I'm the state administrator for Full Gospel. And that's a volunteer position. And someone asked me, why did you take that? It's because I wanted to learn ministry leadership at that level. Okay, so yes, is it work for me? Yes, it's a lot of work for me, but at the same time, okay, at the same time, I'm learning ministry leadership at a level that I hadn't never experienced it before. So I'm gaining from that. Okay, all right. So Amy says yes, at least appreciation for volunteering. Yeah, some people love to volunteer, and if you want. And if you want somebody, now let me tell you something right here now. Sometimes you can volunteer and you're not going to get any appreciation at all. Okay. That's why number 3 is so important. Because if you are looking for someone else to say thank you or great job, especially in a volunteer capacity, okay, especially in a volunteer capacity, you would think that most people would know to do that, but everybody doesn't. Okay, all leaders don't know how to be thankful for the people that do work for them. Okay, that's one of the things I teach about when I teach, especially church leaders. Sometimes church leaders don't know how to be thankful for the people that they have that do for them. Because in church, the 90% of the people that do work are volunteers. All right, so, but when you begin to give more, all right, or give more than that entity that you need to walk away from, or you're possibly thinking about it as giving to you, then think about it. May be time to take the leap. Okay, you may not be in the right place. All right, so when I say give more, I mean, sometimes you just work really hard. I mean, you think about it. There was a situation once where this person worked really, really hard on something. I mean, and I saw it. I saw the work. I saw what she was doing. And the people were thankless. I mean, absolutely thankless. They did not thank her for doing the work. And I really felt like, oh my gosh, they could have at least said thank you. They didn't cost you anything at all. You didn't have to pay for different things, but you could have at least said thank you. And they didn't do any of that. It was time to go. It was time to, when you pour your heart, and the only thing that she got out of it was just tiredness. Okay, that doesn't count. Let me get some water. All right, that does not count. When all you get out of the situation is just being tired. Okay, Gail says anything that requires feeding more than being fed, draining, not sustaining. Ooh, yes, Gail, I like that. And Gail, I might use that in my presentation. I like that. That you are draining, not sustaining. Oh, I like that. I might even use that for my topic as opposed to the way I said it. Okay, that you are draining, you're being drained, not sustained. Oh, that is good. Thank you, Gail. That is absolutely awesome. Okay, so again, number 1, remember you're not growing. Okay, things start to repeat itself and you see no growth in you. Number 2, you're not motivated to stay there because you begin to procrastinate about the work. You're unhappy. You feel like you're misunderstood. You're depressed. You just don't like being there. Time to move on. Number 3, I like the way Gail said it. The entity, the relationship, whatever it is draining you, not sustaining you. That is wonderful. I really like that. So if I can't use it, you better let me know because I'm going to use it. Okay. Anything that requires more feeding than being fed, okay, than you being fed, that's number 3. Okay. Now, and all of these are things that, really, really look at where you are. If you've been asking yourself, is it time for me to go? All right, then take these 5 things and ask yourself and put these 5 signals to what it is that you've been asking yourself whether or not it's time to go. Okay, and keep in mind, time to go may not mean that you're leaving forever. It may mean that you're leaving for a season. Okay, and we're going to talk about that in just a second. All right, number 4. All right, now here's one that I will tell you that you really need to go if signal number 4 happens. Okay, and signal number 4 is the environment is tainted or toxic. Okay, write that down, somebody. The environment is tainted or toxic. All right, so if where you are, the organization, the church, the job, the relationship is toxic to you, if it's poisonous to you, if it is pulling you down and not bringing you up, okay? If you're in a situation where, you're suffering for whatever reason, then pray, ask God to show you how to leave, and then go. Okay? All right. Now that's a strategy right there. Because anytime you're in a toxic relationship or you're in a toxic situation, or if you are in a, thank you Joyce for scribing that, or if you're in someplace that is just terrible to you, okay, then it's time for you to go. I'm looking at my notes here. Okay. Say for example, people are treating you wrong. People are treating you wrong. They're talking about you, or you're not able to do your job for whatever reason. That's toxic, okay? If the other people, and sometimes things aren't being done to you, but things are being done, and you can see it, and it doesn't sit well with you, it's not a part of who you are, toxic, time to go, okay? But like I always say, pray first, ask God for direction, and then ask God for direction on how to leave. And let me tell you something. If God doesn't give you any direction on how to leave, then it may be that you need to be still, stay there, because he may have a purpose in your, not he may. If God doesn't tell you to go, there's a purpose in your staying. Okay? If God doesn't tell you to go, there is a purpose in your staying. But if God says go, or if you're just not getting anything, all right, or if the people around you are toxic, there are some people. I have been observing something recently, and I've been observing. You know, I was got my eye on you. You know how we do that, right? All right. So I have truly been observing something recently that is so very toxic. It's so very toxic, and some of the people don't realize that they're in a toxic situation. They don't realize that what's happening to them. And when I was asked about it, I was actually asked about it in an interview. Somebody was interviewing me for something, and they asked me about this particular situation. I said, well, I can't talk about the situation. It's not fair to the people in it. But I will talk about what a toxic relationship, a toxic job, a toxic church, a toxic anything will do. It will destroy you, and it will leave you unprepared for the next that God has for you. Okay? Some people, and I hope this is not you, but some people stay in toxic places. And let me just say, stay in toxic people, stay around toxic people, stay in toxic places, and stay in toxic situations way too long. And then you wonder, why is it that when you finally do take a leap, why what you leaped into does not work? It's because you were drained in the place where you were before. And now you're out of it. You're out of that place, and you've got to be built back up. Okay, you've got to be built back up. Let me look at some of the comments. Amy said integrity is not in their vocabulary. Exactly. Okay, toxic people could care less about you and about what they're doing, because if they did, then they wouldn't be toxic, right? Okay, this is something that I truly had to ask myself about. Some situations that I've been observing recently, and I just asked myself one time. I said, "Those people had the Holy Ghost. Do they really have the Holy Spirit?" Because I believe, because the Bible tells me this. The Bible lets us know that when you walk in the Spirit, there's certain things that you're just not going to do. There's certain ways that you're just not going to act. Okay, we all make mistakes. We all do. Okay, but when you're truly, truly walking in the Spirit, right, there are just certain things that you get convicted inside of you if you do it. Okay, so when you're in a toxic environment, and we see Gail says, don't be drained in toxic environments before moving to your next place of purpose. Exactly. Thank you, Gail. Great way. Thank you. All right. So, when you're in a toxic environment and you're there too long, you will get drained. Now, here's the thing. Toxic environments, I need to stay here for just a second. Toxic environments are relative to the person. Just because an environment is toxic for you doesn't mean that it's toxic for someone else. Okay? That just because an environment is toxic for you does not mean that it's toxic for someone else, because it all depends on where you are spiritually, emotionally, mentally, physically, financially. All of that comes into play. Okay? All right, let me look at some of the comments, because y'all are rolling these comments. Prophetess Scarborough says, it will leave you in a state of bitterness and resentment. You're right. If you stay in a toxic environment, if you stay around toxic people or a toxic place or in a toxic situation too long, it will leave you in a state of bitterness. I agree, because I have been there. I have been there. Okay. Toxicity tolerance level. Yes. Okay. Oh, thanks, Gail. Hey, Gail, how are you? Okay. Gail and I are in a mastermind together. And so, I haven't seen her in a while, so good to see you online. Mwah! Miss you. All right. So here's the thing about that being in those toxic relationships, because it will destroy your next. Toxic relationships will destroy your next. Holistic detoxification is needed. Yes, because I'm gonna tell you. Let me give you an example. I'm gonna be very open with you right now. There was I was something happened in my family. This was, let's see, Bradley was born, so it had to be less than 16 years ago, but he was a little bitty baby, so it may have been like 15 years ago. Okay, something like that. All right. And what is your toxicity tolerance level? I like that. I may have to use that too, Roberta. Okay. All right. So, Bradley was born, and something happened. My husband's father passed away. And this one person, I can't tell you who that person was, because you'll know who I'm talking about. But this one person did not call. This one particular person did not come see about my husband and me. This one person that I just knew would be at our side because of the things that we did and because of the role that my husband and I played. I just knew this person would be there for us. Didn't call, didn't come to the funeral, didn't do anything. And there was a church, not my church, but a different church. And this person's in my church. The person I'm talking about is in my church. And I just knew they were going to be there. Never heard from him. There was another church that I was doing some work for, okay? And I was teaching, and they had contracted me in to do some teaching in the church, because I do that. I do leadership training and teaching in churches. And so they contracted me in to do some work. They sent a delegation all the way to Virginia to my father-in-law's funeral. They sent I say a delegation, I don't mean two folk. They sent a delegation. Okay, to the funeral. And the pastor said, I can't be there with Dr. Williams, but I want y'all to go be there, and I want you to represent us, because she has poured into us so much in terms of leadership. She has changed the leadership trajectory in our church. So I need for you all to go be with her. And they sent a delegation of folk, okay, to that funeral. None of them knew my father-in-law. None of them knew him. But he sent someone, leadership. The person who I thought should have been there, who should have been there first, who should have been the first one on the phone, calling, making sure everything was okay. Never heard from that person. And let me tell you something. That became toxic for me. Okay? And I left. Many people didn't even realize that I was gone. Some people just said I was just staying home from church. Many people didn't even realize I was gone. Okay? But I left for a hot second. And then the Lord told me to go back. All right? And I went back to it's the church that I'm in now. And I went back. And I will tell you, it changed how I began to look at some things. Because as Prophet Scarborough said earlier, bitterness does set in. Anger does set in. And I even got to the point where I was just mad. Okay, I was just mad. Okay. And so when I was finally able to confront the person, because you shouldn't confront folk when you're mad, but when I was finally able to confront the person about what they did, I just said to myself, why weren't you there? And the answer, there was no answer this person could give to me that would make any difference. No answer at all. Okay. But I said to myself, you know what? I just allowed what you being toxic to me, it was about to change me. The reason I'm telling you this is because when you're in toxic relationships, toxic places, toxic situations too long, it can change who you are. And you begin to be like the environment that you're in. The devil will use that, and the hatred, the anger, the resentment, the bitterness will begin to change you. Watch this. It'll begin to change you, and God cannot then use you for your next. You need to get that. You need to get that. That's why getting out, or an environment being toxic, that's why that is a leap signal. That's a leap signal, because you cannot stay there. Yes, Roberta. Hey, Roberta. Yes, it is contagious. It is contagious, and you just can't stay there. Because if you stay there, all right, remember, pray, get guidance from God. Because if you stay too long, you are going to mess up the next place that you're going to be. You are not going to be prepared for God's purpose. Now, again, like I said, something that is toxic to me may not be toxic to you. It all depends on the person. So just because someone is saying you need to get out of there, they may need to leave, but you may not need to leave. Okay? They may need to leave a job, but you may not need to. That's why everybody has to hear from God. All right? Everybody needs to hear from God. I don't care whether it's your job, whether it's church, whether it's a relationship. It doesn't matter what it is. You need to hear from God first. You need to pray. You need to seek wise counsel. You need to do all those things that the Bible tells us to do before we make any sort of move from one place to the next. Okay? One place to the next. Let me put a ticker in here for Dr. Shirley Brown. My mentor is having the next summit at the end of the year. I can't go to the whole thing, okay? My girlfriend is getting married, and my husband and I are going to be traveling to her wedding, so I'm going to miss her the summit, but I wouldn't miss her wedding either. Okay, so we are going to miss some of the summit, but go on Dr. Shirley Brown's website, look at the next summit, and make sure when registrations opens, you are registered to be in that, because that is going to be the next place, or the thing that helps you to go to your next, okay? So, yes, holistic detoxification is needed regularly, all right? Robin says, thanks, need to hear this. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. You need a reminder, okay? Because I will tell you, sometimes we get in toxic situations and we don't even realize it's changing us. It's changing us. Oh, Phyllis said that registration is open now, okay? If anybody knows the registration to Dr. Brown or the website or wherever they go to register for the next summit, go ahead and please put it in the chat box, okay? Because if you want to end your year, I'm going to tell you, that's the place to be. Okay, I'm going to be there for the first 2 nights, I believe, and then I'm going to be, we're going to be going on to a wedding. All right, so it's in Eventbrite. It's in Eventbrite, and it's called the NEXT Summit. Next Summit. Okay, so make sure you're there. All right, so let's look at these. Woo, is this good? If this is good to y'all, give me some likes across the screen. Let me see if this. Oh, wait a minute. Somebody says, "What if your marriage is toxic?" If your marriage is toxic, let me tell you, get some counseling, get some guidance, and then do something. Okay. Now, I don't know what you mean by toxic. I don't know how toxic, what is your definition of toxic, but definitely go get some counseling from someone that you trust and someone that can help you through all of that. I am not a marriage counselor at all, but those of you who are or know a great marriage counselor, you might want to inbox Robin. Robin, if you're helping someone or if it's for you or whatever, but if your marriage is toxic, you need some help. Okay, I don't know what level of toxic you're talking about. If someone's beating on you and they're in danger, then there's some things that person needs to do. If it's verbal, being toxic verbally, there's some things that, the person really needs to do. Okay. But that's a really, really good question. Really good question. Okay. So for those of you that are joining us on the replay, hello again. And let's review the 4, and then I'm going to give you, the last one. Okay. Number 1, the first leap signal is that, you are not growing. Okay, there's no growth. Number 2, you're not motivated to do the work anymore, whatever that work is. Okay. Number 3, I didn't write it down. You're being drained as opposed to sustained. Thank you, Gail. Being drained as opposed to sustained. That means you're giving more than you're getting. Okay. Number 4, the environment is toxic. Okay, the environment is toxic. And remember that toxic depends on the person. So something that's toxic for me may not be toxic for you. Okay, so it's all an individual thing. Okay, all an individual thing. All right. And let me add something to toxic on the financial side. Let me do this really quickly, because I'm really trying to be off here by 10 o'clock. Okay, so let me add something on the financial side. Some of you all are in toxic financial kinds of relationships. Toxic financially, and you need to get out of it. And let me tell you what I mean by this right here. Okay. Some of us, sometimes we are toxic to ourselves financially. If you can't afford something, stop trying to keep up with everybody else. All right. Just don't worry about it. It could be that I'm 54 years old and I am very comfortable in who God has made me. I'm very confident in who God has made me. So I don't really, if somebody's doing something, I may want it, but then if I know it's not for me at this time, I don't really get all, into getting it or whatever, I watch people, and if they have something that I like, I may ask where you got it. And if I go see it, and if it's not something that I want to pay for, then I just won't get it. My girlfriends will laugh at me. We go to the beach, and whenever I go shopping, I'll say, I ain't paying $16 for that blouse. That's just too much. But that's just me. And they get used to that. But I'll go and pay $35 for a planner. Okay. I know some of my girlfriends know this, that were with me. I'm trying to reach and get this. We were at the beach, and I was complaining about, I had just paid like $16 for this blouse, and I kind of wanted to take it back. But then I go to Staples, and I paid $35 for my new planner. This is my planner that I actually do my planning in, because I like the way it was laid out, and I like the colors and all of this. So I paid $35 for this. And yeah, I'll pay $35 for that, because I know that's going to help me grow. Okay? You're toxic to yourself when you invest in things that don't help you grow. And then yesterday, I have a record book every year, and this is my record book for 2018. And I like it because, number 1, the pages are white. Number 2, the pages are numbered. Okay? And when I put in notes, I'll say, it's on page 2018, page 55, okay? And I paid $40 for this. I ordered it. They had some in the store, but they were all scratched up, so I told Staples to order me another one, and they did. And I paid $40. Now, will I pay $40 sometimes for a pair of shoes? No. Ask my girlfriends. They'll tell you, if I pay $40 for a pair of shoes, it's because I had to love them, and could not do without them. Because I just don't do that. I just don't do that. It's just me. I have too many pairs of shoes. If I paid $40 a pop for every pair of shoes I got, I'd be broke. Okay? But there are certain things that I pay for. So invest. Yes, Gail, exactly. Invest in assets. Stop making your life toxic, your financial life toxic, by investing in something that's not helping you to grow. Okay? Something that's not helping you to grow. I'm getting ready to make a huge investment in myself in terms of coaching, so that I can grow, so that my business can grow, and so those people that are connected to me can grow. I like that. Invest in your progress. Yes. Invest in your assets. Yes. Okay. So stop being toxic to yourself financially. Invest in something that can help you grow. The ladies that are in the inner circle, they're investing in their growth every single month. Okay, every single month they get new training, they get new coaching in a particular area. Okay, we're getting ready to. I'm making some changes to it to make it even better in 2018. after working with my own coach, making some changes to make it even better. All right. And I'm excited about it. But they're making the investment. It's only $29 a month. And they're making the investment so that they can grow. They're motivated. They're around women who are like them, like-minded women. Okay. So now, last one. Ready for the last one? And this is one where you've got to look at yourself and say to yourself, this last one, number 5. Number 5 is that you know there's more for you, okay? Deep down, number 5 is you know there's more. You can write the word more, okay? You know there's more, okay? That you believe deep down that you were meant for bigger and for better. And if you are in a place, I need you to get this right here, okay? If you're in a place that's holding you back, if you're in a place where your gifts aren't being used, or you can't even grow your gifts, sometimes you can be in a place where your gifts aren't used, but if you can still grow your gifts, that's great, okay? But if you're in a place where you're not getting the more that you need, all right, or you know there's bigger, you know there's better for you, but you feel like you're being stifled and you're being pushed down, pray, get guidance from God, seek some wise counsel, and then determine what your next step is. Okay? I will tell you, if you get to a place where, make sure I said it, there was a couple of things I wanted to say on that. Yeah, a couple of things I wanted to say on that one. All right? If you believe that you know there's more for you and you're not getting it where you are, okay, then look at what your next really should be. Where should you be next? What should you be doing? Are you in a place that's holding you down? You know, people use the scripture, I've forgotten what it is, but it's like your gifts will make room for you. So they stay in environments, okay? And let me tell you, sometimes the reason that you don't move or the reason that you don't move on is because of fear. You get comfortable in a place where you are. You get comfortable in a place where you are, and you don't move because of fear. But if you know there's bigger, if you know that you're supposed to be doing more, if you know that there is more that you are supposed to be doing and you don't do it just because you're afraid, then you're not ever going to launch exceptionally into your accurate position. That's what LEAP stands for. Those of you that missed that, make sure you watch the replay so you'll know what LEAP means. LEAP is launch exceptionally into your accurate position. You'll never launch into that position that God has for you, all right, if you believe that there's bigger and there's better for you, but you never take the steps to do it. You never get around the right people. You never, ever, you stay around people who are where you are. Let me give you a secret. Stop hanging around people that are just like you. Start hanging around people that are different than you. Start hanging around people that know more than you. This young lady told me yesterday, she said, Dr. Saundra, I just want to come and hang out with you one day. I just felt like, oh, you want to come hang out with me? You know, I don't do a lot to hang out. I mean, I don't shop during the week. Well, every now and then I do. You know, sometimes I might have to go to the mall. But you can do that when you work for yourself, okay? You know, I love my work. I love what I do. You know, but you've got to, yes, I was just getting ready to say that, Gail. You've got to move out of your comfort zone. If you're comfortable where you are, all right, you know there's bigger and there's better for you, but you're comfortable where you are, then you have to ask yourself, am I ready to move out of being comfortable, or am I just scared and that's why I'm not leaping? Okay? Because sometimes fear will keep you. Let me go back to my notes. I'm trying to be calm with this for y'all. Okay. Sometimes fear will keep you from leaping. Fear will keep you in a toxic environment. And it's not fear that you're afraid of a particular person. It's fear of what's next. Fear that you can't do what's next. Okay. I will never ever forget when Martin Lancaster came to me and asked me. I was a professor. I was loving what I did at NC State. Okay. Martin Lancaster came and asked me about the position at community colleges. I had no idea what the man wanted when he wanted to take me. I kind of knew what he wanted because they had told me what he wanted, but I didn't know all the entity of what it entailed, of how big it was. Okay. And he said to me, he said, I know you're perfect for this. I know you can do this, blah, blah, blah. And inside, to him, I was saying, yes, sir, I can. This is an exciting opportunity. I can have 24 hours to think about this and give you a decision, kind of thing. But inside, I got back in my car and went, I have no idea how to do this job. Fear was about to set in. And then I called this lady, and she said, no, don't let fear set in. Just leap. That's where it came from. Just leap. If you don't take the opportunity to leap into what God has for you, if you know that there's bigger and there's better and better out there for you, and you just don't leap into it, if you just don't say, okay, I'm going to, as Joyce Meyer says, do it afraid. Joyce Meyer says, just do it afraid. If you're not willing to just do it afraid, then let me tell you, we're going to be on this time next year, is going into Thanksgiving time. We're going to be on Impact Academy. If God is saying continue Impact Academy next year, if we're going to be on there, and you're going to be in the same place right now, next year, if you don't get rid of the fear and do it afraid. All right? Because only doing it afraid will get you to take the leap. Okay? If you're afraid, only doing it afraid will get you. If you're afraid, okay, of writing that book. Someone told me that they were afraid of what people were going to say if they wrote their book. And what they have to say is so phenomenal that it just amazes me that they're keeping all of that inside of them because they're afraid of what other people will say. Okay? But if you know there's bigger and there's better out there for you, making sure I got all my notes. If you know there's bigger, there's better out there, and you don't do it, then that's a fear. You are being toxic to yourself. You're putting yourself in a toxic environment up here. You're putting yourself in a toxic environment up here. That's the first thing the enemy does, is make yourself, your own self, toxic to yourself by destroying your mind. That's why they said the battlefield is in the mind. Because if he destroys your mind, you won't do anything. Okay? Let me read some of the comments. All right? Fear of what is next or one's ability to do something can keep you from moving forward. Yeah. Leaping into what God has for you. Exactly right. Just leap. I agree. Okay? Ladies, I will tell you. And I've learned there's a few great men that watch this too. There's some men in Vision Building Women, y'all. They just don't come out because it's called Vision Building Women. They're great. They're great. So, hey, guys, how you doing? All right. So, but if there's something that you know that you should be doing, take the leap. Start doing something towards it. Look, this is almost Thanksgiving. I'm excited. I'm taking 3 more trips before the end of the year, y'all. 3 more trips. I am going home for Thanksgiving. Yay, of course. And my cousins are on their way now. One of them is spending a week with my mom, and he and his wife and their kids are coming, and so I'll see them on Wednesday. So that's one. I'm taking that trip. In the first part of December, I'm going to be speaking at the Virginia Business Women's Conference. I'm excited about that trip, and I'm actually going to be bringing this same presentation, more business focused, but same presentation about how you know it's time to leap, to that group. And then I'm excited because my cousins and I, on my mom's side, my cousins and I are all going to New Jersey, and we're going to spend some time together we haven't spent in a long time, just the cousins. Okay. And so we're taking that trip to New Jersey, and I'm excited about that. Okay. And I'll tell you, here's what I want you to know and to remember, that if you're in a place and you keep asking yourself whether or not it's time for you to go, whether it's time for you to move on, whether it's time for you to just get out of what is it you're doing. Oh, the Dayton, Virginia, Roberta, is, I think it's the 1st or 2nd of December. It's up in Northern Virginia. All right. And you're asking yourself, about that, then here's the thing. Ask yourself, number one, am I growing? Number two, does what I'm doing or who I'm with motivate me? Number three, is it draining or is it sustaining? Number four, is the people, places, or situations, is it toxic? And then number five, am I willing to be uncomfortable so I can move on to the better things? Okay? That's how you know. Those are some signals. If you know, like a friend of mine says, you know when you know, and know in your knower. Okay, you know in your knower. Okay, that it's time. There's something bigger and better out there for you. If you're in toxic environments, okay, if the things are draining you and not people or situations are draining you and not sustaining you, if what you're doing doesn't motivate you, if what you're doing doesn't help you grow, then you just have to ask yourself, is it time to move on? And like I said, please make sure that you pray first. Always, always pray first. Oh, yay, Roberta, thank you. Always pray first and then get some wise counsel. Okay? I never go into a big decision like that. Something happened to me today, and I'll share this with you. I was to pray at church, and okay, it's prayer. It's praying. And I have never ever in my whole time preaching, speaking, or doing anything up in front of anybody where I got physically sick. And this morning, I got physically sick. I knew it was a spiritual attack against my body, my physical body. Okay, I knew. I mean, I literally had to just stop and say amen. And our prayer leaders could see that something was wrong, that I was sick. And the gentleman walks over to me and he said, Dr. Williams, are you okay? Are you okay? And I said, no. So I sat down. And then I sat down in the choir stand. The choir needed to come in. So I had to move out of the way and get another little seat. And felt like I was throwing up, kind of thing. I got really nauseous. And that was an attack on my physical body. And sometimes, y'all, when things, I'm telling you that I tell you this, is that sometimes there are attacks that come against you. Hey, Saundra, how you doing, my childhood friend? Since we were in school, how you doing? Okay, sometimes there are attacks that come against you, that you need to understand those attacks and know that if things are attacking you, is it time to go? If they're toxic, do I need to move on? If I'm not growing, is it time to say bye-bye? Okay? Last week, Ernestine put in the chat, if you have to ask why, then it's time to say bye. Okay? If you have to ask why, then it's time to say bye. Okay? And again, the reason that I think is just so important for this particular teaching on tonight, and I was going to save it for closer when it was time for me to go to Virginia and present it there, but I really wanted you to hear it tonight, mostly because God was just impressing upon me to give it to you tonight, because there's somebody out there that needs it. I know that's the case, number one. And number two, we all need to, and I like the way, I can't remember who said this, but somebody said this in the chat, holistically evaluate where we are. We all need to holistically evaluate where we are and ask ourselves, do I need to still be in this group? Do I need to expand the people I'm around? Okay? Do I need to leave this particular environment? Do I need to go volunteer someplace else? Okay? Do I need to stop taking the mess that I'm taking? Okay? And go on to something else? Do I need to go to another church that helps me to grow? And sometimes growth is not necessarily growth in your calling. Sometimes you need to grow spiritually so that you can walk in your calling. All right? And you may come back to where you left from. Someone told me this one time that sometimes you have to move out in order to move up. Okay? Ooh, that's a good one. Sometimes you have to move out so that you can grow and you can do the kinds of things that need to be done so that you can move up. All right? So again, yes, that is it, Roberta. The Virginia Women's Business Conference at Lansdowne Resort and Spa. That's it. That's exactly it. Okay? And so, as you all go through Thanksgiving, and you're getting ready for the other parts of the holidays and all the things that we do, I just want to let you all know that I am very thankful for each and every one of you. I just have grown so much over the past year, and I'm excited about what 2018 is bringing for Vision Building Women. We are going to have a live event. Let me tell you, we are going to have a live event. Let me say it again. 2018, there is going to be a live Vision Building Women event, and I hope to see you all there. It is going to be an exclusive event, which means that it is going to be limited seats or limited, whatever you want to call it, seats or whatever, because of the nature of it. And I want you all to know that. But I just feel like the Vision Building Women need to come together. We've been coming together online now for an entire year. Some of you may not have been with us for an entire year, but some of you have been with Vision Building Women and this training since it started. Okay, and we've been online now for a year, a little bit over. I think we started in September of last year. So now we've been here for a year. So now it's time for Vision Building Women to come together. Can you imagine how powerful that is going to be? Can you imagine the teaching that is going to happen? Can you imagine, okay, how God is going to move when we all come together? Now, do I have the weekend yet? No. All right, but I can tell you it will be starting. Get ready to take this, and it's going to be an investment in your time, and it's also going to be an investment in money. It's going to be. I'm telling you, it's not going to be a $47 event. I'm just going to tell you that because I don't do $47 events. Okay, all right. If you're going to come, you got to come, and it's going to be something that's going to be worth your while. The teaching, the growth that you're going to get there, that you will get there. All right, and you will see that how you can grow in just that one weekend. I was at MogulCon, and I grew more in MogulCon, okay, because I was around people who were growing and who want to do the same kinds of things that I want to do or that I'm doing, and they were doing it bigger and better than I was. Okay, you can't grow and you can't get to the next, whatever your next is. You can't get to your next. All right, if you don't make an investment in yourself. I want you all to do this for 2018. And I'm not saying do this just because you can come to my event, but to anybody's event. I want you to do this. I want you to start putting away however much, okay, come on now, however much it costs to do your hair or to do your nails or whatever you pay for an average pair of shoes. One of those three, pick one of those three amounts. And I want you to start putting that money away on a monthly basis. Okay? I challenge it. However it costs to do your hair. Now some of you are going to be putting away like $150. Okay? All right? It doesn't cost me that much to do my hair. All right? However much it costs to do your hair. Whatever you pay to get your nails done. Whatever is the average cost of your shoes. Pick one of those three, and I want you to begin to put that money away on a monthly basis. So next year, you can begin to invest in you all. You can begin to invest in yourself. You cannot go. Let me just tell you. You can't go to your next without some sort of investment of your time, of your talent, and of your resources, which is your money. Okay? You have to do that. You have to do that. There's this book, called Financial Fitness, and Kimberly Hines Winborn, she's one of Vision Building Women, and she's in the inner circle, and she actually teaches this. And one of the major things that Financial Fitness talks about is investing in yourself. Okay, I hear so many women say that they're not going to their next, or they can't go to their next, they don't have the money, but you go get your hair done. Okay. Now, some of you may need to go natural for a year. Now, I'm not saying that you need to go, because I'm going to get some chemicals. Okay. I'm going to get some chemicals. Okay. But I just want you to do different in 2018. Some of you already are. Some of you are already investing in the inner circle. Some of you are already investing in some other programs that we have to move you forward. Some of you are already investing in coaching and that sort of thing. But if you want to move farther, faster, you've got to invest in yourself. So I'm giving you away. Okay. Step all over the toes. Okay. That's another thing. So save. Just take whatever amount. I'm not saying don't get your hair done. I'm saying if your hair costs, what is it? Maybe average $60, $75 a month. For those of you that spend money on your hair, take that $60 to $75, save it. Or if you get your nails done, however much you pay to get your nails done on a monthly basis. If you pay $25 every time you go, that's $50 a month. You go twice, that's $50 a month. Save $50 a month. Okay? If your average pair of shoes costs, I don't know, $50. Okay, that's not my average pair, okay? But if your average pair of shoes costs $50, all right, then you take that $50 and you save it. So that you can begin to invest in you. You are your greatest asset. God made you, and when he made you, he created you for a purpose. And if you are not investing in you, then how can you do the purpose that God has called for you? You've got to invest in you so that you can do the purpose that God has for you. All right. So now, I haven't been looking at comments, so some of you may have gone comments I didn't get to see. Okay. Roberta says in DC you drop $150 for hair, nails, and waxing. Eek! Okay, I ain't dropping about $50 for my little Philly came out. I'm not dropping $150 for that. But you know what? I have to admit, I have to say, I have paid over between the amount of money I paid for the hair. Now this is cheap hair right here. Okay, but the amount of money that I paid for the hair, the amount of money that I paid for her to put it in, all right, and everything. I paid one time. Y'all, I kid you not. I have paid over $285 for my hair. Not this one. I will never, ever do that again. Never, ever will I do that again. Never, ever. Okay? Because this is what happened. When she took that hair out, and all she did was throw it in the trash can, I said to myself, that was a course. I just began to think in my head all the things that could better me that was in the trash can. Now, I'm not telling you don't get your weave, because I'm going to get mine, because I love some hair. So y'all see I got this hair this week. Okay, it's kind of tangled. But y'all see I got this hair this week. Next week it may be different. The week after that it may be different than that, because I just love hair. I've loved hair since I was a little girl. Just always have. Okay? So, what I want you all to know is that don't spend so much money on things that you're not getting a return from. Okay? Beautiful nails are great. I love them. Going to get mine done after Thanksgiving. Only reason I'm not getting them done before Thanksgiving is because I know my mama don't have a dishwasher and I got to be washing some dishes over Thanksgiving. That's why I'm not going to get them done before that. Okay, I'm getting them done after Thanksgiving. Okay? So, the girl who does my nails, she does them once a month because she's just that good. And I don't have to get them done a whole lot because she's very good. And so it lasts me for a whole month. And $33. Okay? So, $33, that's how much I pay. If that's what you pay, begin to save that. Okay? Shoes, I'm going to tell y'all, I'm a shoe person, but I like lots of shoes. But I don't pay a lot for my shoes. I get them on sale. Okay? If they're not on sale and I don't need them, I won't buy them. Okay? But I'm just trying to tell y'all this so that you can begin to invest in you. Let 2018 be the year you invest in you. Let 2018 be the year you do something to invest in yourself that you haven't done before. Okay? All right. So now, I am always on here after 10 o'clock, y'all. Now, y'all always stay with me. So I love y'all so much. Y'all have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Remember the 5 signals, okay? Get your friends to join into the Vision Building Women Facebook group if they haven't joined, and you know somebody that needs to hear this, because they won't see it. It'll be on YouTube also. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please go do that. Dr. Saundra Williams. Get your friends to join us in the Vision Building Women Facebook group. If you're not on my email list, please get on my email list, and that is drsaundraspeaks.com. That is drsaundraspeaks.com. And I'm just excited for you. Thank you so much, Ernestine. It's a thankful for you and for your family. Mwah. Thank you so much. So everybody have a wonderful, wonderful Thanksgiving. I'll probably go live and say hi on Thanksgiving Day so you can meet all my family. You get to see my dad. And you know what? If you go on my personal page, you can hear my dad singing. He's an on-time God. Oh, yes, he is. That's a song that my daddy sings. So he's on my personal page singing that. And I'm going to see him over Thanksgiving. I'm excited about seeing my family. And so y'all have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Love you much. And remember, be thankful regardless. Okay? Be thankful regardless. Love you much. See you next week. Bye-bye.